Welcome to another episode of Behind the Screen. This is an Onyx Path Virtual Con 2026 special, so this is simply episode 94 of the overall series. I can't remember what special number it is. I haven't done that many specials, but here we are. Friendly reminder, my name is Ryan, or Comrade Bubbles. I do not speak for Onyx Path, nor is this project official material. All views and opinions expressed on my own, and this material may be available to buy on the StoryPath Nexus eventually. Today's plan is just to make the... Something's gone wrong with my Adobe Capture. Love that. Oh, hang on. It's just to make the pre-generated characters for the con game I'll be running, or one of the con games I'll be running, as well as the... discuss how they can potentially fit into the overall structure of a con game and how I approach con games in general. I know I briefly touched on con games 2 years ago, I think it was at this point, when I was talking about how I did the world, my kind of thinking behind the world below, and they came from classified games. So we'll see. It's all up in the air whether they'll make it onto the Nexus, because I don't know if I'm going to flesh it out to a full adventure yet for people to buy. I am incredibly busy and simply do not have the time. And as far as I know, the game lines certainly they came from the RPG anthology, is not currently available on the Nexus to my knowledge. I have not checked in a while though. That might have changed. Regardless, I'm merely a grateful fan with a platform. I am also disabled. I do experience muscle spasms and twitches, which can lead to stuttering or slurring. I do that anyway, but it makes it all worse depending on which muscle groups are affected. If it becomes uncomfortable for me or excessive, I will just end the stream. If I think it'll get better, I may just pause the recording, close the webcam, take a few moments to rest, but we'll see how it goes. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so if I'm talking about something, I will try to finish that before jumping on to the next topic. However, if you raise a point in chat, I'll try to acknowledge that before returning to it, once I'm done talking about whatever I'm done talking about. The important information, as ever, about Onyx Path in general is at the Monday meeting notes. The no current crowdfunding campaign, however, as of the date of recording, as of time of recording, unless I've done some weird maths in less than 5 hours time, there will be a new crowdfunding campaign for Exalted Essence, and that will be the Storyteller's Guide. I'm a huge fan of Exalted Essence, if you hadn't figured that out by my appearance in the XS actual play that, as far as I'm aware, is still currently on hiatus. And the Storyteller's Guide is just more levers and dials and things to play with for Exalted Essence. And that is never a bad thing. Speaking of crowdfunding campaigns, and alarmingly on topic for this show, they came from the RPG anthology, the traditional printer process is nearing its end. They're simply gathering shipping numbers so that the books can go out to the fulfillers. So if you're backed for the physical book, the end may be in sight. And then, of course, the elephant in the room, the virtual con itself, that is taking place between June the 5th and June the 7th on the twitch.tv/OnyxPath, which is this channel, as usual, hosting all of the panels and things, and twitch.tv/PlasticAgePlays, hosting all of the actual plays, where I will be making 2 appearances as director. Little hint for what's coming up there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, there's some sweet art if you like cool art, particularly for a book I was involved with. Pugmire Unleashed has some new art. But the rest of the schedule, all of these times in Eastern. 8 PM today, Expanding Your Realms. It's a Branch Riders program by the Bedana Group. Curseborn, Accursed in Boston, 7 PM tomorrow, Wednesday the 20th. Thursday the 21st, Guiding the Path, 3 PM. And on Monday the 25th, Trinity Continuum Adventure, Short Tales at 9 PM. And if you want to know why I say adventure, please swing by twitch.tv/ComradeBubbles and watch any of the 9th series of the show, where I explain it every dang episode. I don't mind doing it. I'll happily do it every time because it sparks joy. But for the people who might not be the biggest fan of it, it's probably annoying. This Wednesday we have for sale a collection of They Came From Classified Tasty Bits. Tasty Bits, if you are not in the know. Onyx Path release short, like single-ish handful of page documents detailing something around from one of their game lines, and the compilation of everything that has been released so far for They Came From Classified. It's going to PDF and print on demand. And on the They Came From train, last week's Wednesday release was the They Came From the Danger Zone advanced PDF, and that is a mini supplement for Classified. They Came From Classified, inspired by the action movies of the 80s. I think that covers all of the pertinence, so let us simply get into things. So, a bit of a looser format this time around, as I'm not writing an adventure. My goal for the end of the stream, as ever, is to have 3 pre-generated characters written up for use during my They Came From the RPG Anthology game at the virtual convention. I will be running Bridgton Rectory. Because I've wanted to run Bridgton Rectory for a while. I'm not like a history buff for the Regency to Victorian to pre-Great War period. But I've had ideas about cool storylines that could take place during in a Bridgton Rectory game, and we'll see how much time I actually have before the con to prep a bespoke storyline. However, They Came From the RPG Anthology book does include a sample 4-act adventure. Not in any great detail, just enough that you know. It's just enough to run the adventure, but with a lot of... It's all bullet pointed. It gives you the space to build on it, to expand it, to make it your own. Called Flap and Flappability. If needs be, I will be using that. Obviously, I'd like to make something a little bit more bespoke. But we will... we make use of the time we have, and unfortunately at the minute I have precious little time. So, pre-generated characters. I'd like to have 3. There are reasons for this. And They Came From RPG Anthology. Back to basics. They Came From is a series of role-playing games inspired by media of many sources. I touched briefly on how Danger Zone is inspired by its action movies. Bridgton Rectory is inspired by things such as Pride and Prejudice, both book and movie. Bridgerton, Wuthering Heights, book and movies, etc. Things of that nature. The various They Came From lines are all broadly compatible with each other. So you can, in theory, run a Bridgton Rectory character alongside a Beyond the Grave character. And while the cinematics being the... now to get pretentious, I guess metacontextual powers that the players have access to that alter the character's experience, reinforce the theme of the game line, of the I guess game line. We will use game line. And the tropes, which are the mechanical powers that the characters have. If you're more familiar with class-based systems, they're like class features. Also reflect the theme. There's nothing saying you can't, as I say, run a Bridgton Rectory character alongside a Beyond the Grave character. One of them's going to feel a bit out of place. Like a Bridgton Rectory character is more social. Their tropes are more... They're more focused around social stories, like emotional beats, light-hearted humor, that kind of thing. Whereas I'm playing with the tropes of Regency fiction. Whereas Beyond the Grave is Hammer horror inspired. So there'll be some mismatch, but it's theoretically possible. Regardless, and this is all achieved through having a shared underlying system in StoryPath, or they came from the RPG Anthology uses the updated StoryPath Ultra system, which is broadly the same with some minor mechanical tweaks and wording changes. Identical character creation methods, and that's kind of all you need to really, like, fundamentally at the end of the day they are the same game, just with different theming, so you can do anything you want with them with all of the interplay. The character creation process is thus, and I forgot to open it in my PDF because I am a fool. So, as with any Onyx Path role-playing game, we start with the concept. Obviously, I'm going to leave the name and player fields blank in the PDF because this is a pre-generated character. Concept, we're going to go with the Curious Chambermaid. We'll just go with Servant. We'll just go with Staff. I don't want to gender any character. I don't want to impose anything like that on the player. Curious staff member. So that's the concept. That's what will drive this character idea. Now, the next stage in the process, I have so many windows open with the rulebooks open. Select an origin, technically, is the next stage. However, I'm going to avoid that slightly. We're going to go to archetype first, because archetype is the role that your character plays in the unfolding narrative. I'm only skipping the origin first because the archetypes in TCFTRA, they came from the RPG Anthology, just have suggested origins. I am very tired and burned out, and I don't want to spend the whole stream agonizing over what would be the best origin. Suffice to say, an origin is obviously it gives you a narrative hook for the character's background, but it is also tied to a handful of skills, and your origin determines what skills you have access to, and things. Some of the skills you have access to, and some of that. So, there's a large emphasis on making the characters your own by defining your own origin, by defining what skills are associated with that origin. Obviously, the director and the rest of the table have veto if something doesn't really make sense, but it's clear they're just because you're power gaming, I guess. But I'm just going to go through the options presented in the TCFTRA book, because they're there. Why wouldn't I? It's easy, and as I said, I don't want to spend ages agonizing over the perfect combination of skills, of 4 skills specifically to tie with the narrative label I've assigned to the origin. So we're going to go to the archetype first. And as you might expect for something inspired by, as I Bridgton, Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice, Downton Abbey, the archetypes in Bridgton Rectory, that I lost the name there, are all about, I don't know where the sentence is going, I'll be honest. The archetypes we have are the charlatan, someone with a criminal reputation. The heart, somebody who just cares. The hero, someone who helps and sacrifices for everyone else. The rake, they're just in it for a good time. And the rebel, who they rebel against what society says. For the concept of the curious staff member, the heart seems to make the most sense. And with what I have in mind for the adventure, if I get to something bespoke, I'd like at least one character to be the emotional center, to be optimistic, to believe that the best is going to happen, and so I'm just going to go with the heart for that matter. And we are going to go with... Now, important question. Do I want a character who is innocent or deliberately chooses to be optimistic and hopeful? I can see arguments for both with what I have planned for... Again, if I get to tweak it. I think... For reasons, I'm going to go with one who chooses to be optimistic because they haven't had a great life. So we're going to go with the origin in Bridgton Rectory called The Orphan. Is there any way to track that? There is, haha. And that gives us the skill... Oh, my voice is cracked. I'm so sorry. That gives us the skills... Close combat, empathy, larceny, survival. Close combat, empathy, larceny, and survival. Oh, I'm also going to put the heart up here so I don't forget that that's what we've gone with. And also down here. So now we go back to the choose your origin. We've selected an origin. There are 4 skills associated with that origin. And we get 3 skill dots to distribute among those 4 skills. I think we're going to go with empathy. We're going to go with survival. And we're going to go with close combat. Someone who cares, but they know how to survive if they need to. And then set all attributes to a rating of 1. Choose 3 attributes. That's already done on the interactive sheet provided with the download for TCFTRA. Choose 3 attributes from the 9 available as your character's favoured 3 approaches to challenges. Each of these attributes gains 1 dot. No attribute can go above 2 dots at this stage. Cool. Favoured approach. I think resilience, right? Like someone who has lived on the hard streets. So we get 3 dots. They all gain 1 dot. So you know, they've got that extra layer of being able to deal with stuff when bad things happen. Perhaps the employers aren't being great. Name and describe 1 director, character, group, or access linked in some way to Origin Path. This is your character's contact. Connections, contacts. The Orphan. Let's go with Michael Farrier, local blacksmith. For those who don't know, a farrier, person who makes horseshoes. A lot of surnames in the English language, I assume other languages as well, but are related to professions, and they originated from someone having just that profession. Archetype then gives 4 skills. It's kind of the same process. What are the archetype skills for the heart? Suggested skill set for heart is culture, enigmas, humanities, and medicine. A less privileged heart may swap out culture or humanities for close combat or survival. Already have those from the Orphan anyway, so that's fine. Culture, enigmas, humanities, medicine. This is the archetype. Culture, enigmas, humanities, and medicine. They've had no training, so we will actually swap that out for survival. Instead of an education, they learned how to fend for themselves on the streets. 3 dots among those skills in any order. We're going to go with culture, another empathy, and a medicine. They know how to relate to people, but they know how to look after people as well. I should really be writing this stuff down, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna have to play the video back. That was 3 dots, right? 1, 2, 2. No, because I put it in the wrong one by accident. Whoops. 3. Assign 3 dots to one attribute arena, 2 to another arena, and 1 to a final arena. So I'm thinking it's 3, 2, 1, right? Yeah, 3, 2, 1. So the approach is force, finesse, resilience. The arenas are physical, mental, physical, social, going left to right on the character sheet. I can you see the cursor? You can see the cursor. Amazing. 3, 2, 1. This is someone who right now is prioritizing no particular arena through their skill choices. Grew up on the streets, adopted by a blacksmith. That would give them some physical arena, but maybe not the most. Let's go with 3 in the mental arena. Cunning to help, extra dot cunning to help them survive on the streets. 2. Oh, hang on. Is there a restriction on how high things can go? No. And give them another dot in social, so that should be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1, I believe. Yep, select 2 tropes from the archetype selection and 1 trope from any other archetype. So tropes are, as I say, they're the kind of class-ish features that you have access to. The heart tropes are confidant. Someone will tell you a secret. I'll treasure it. You can give a gift to someone you'd like to protect. Oblivious to ill intent. No one can tell you malicious lies. Radiant, if you're in love, you just get social role, benefit to social roles, and you mustn't to just stop an evil act occurring. Okay. Let's go with I'll treasure it. I opened the wrong PDF. I keep opening. I've got so many versions of this PDF open. It's absurd. It is absurd. You mustn't. These are all about keeping people alive, you'll notice. Something might be planned. And then any trope from... one trope from any other archetype. What's under the rebel? Let's see what's under the rebel. This could be a... a heart who has grown up on, like, not the best circumstances, so perhaps they have some sense of injustice. Damn this corset. Cool. Physical rolls getting +2 enhancement. Man of the people, rebels ride bareback. You could just summon a horse. Interesting. The rest is drag. Just disguise yourself. Kind of tempted with damn this corset. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go down this corset from the... I'd opened the wrong PDF. You'll hear that a lot. Down this corset from the Rebel. Choose 2 quips from your archetype deck and 1 quip from another archetype archetype deck or invent your own. So quips are so tropes, as I say, are like little mechanical tweaks, kind of like class features, but not exactly the same. For those of you more familiar with class-based games. Character powers. There we go. Let's say character powers. Quips are a more... how to phrase this? Like trademark sayings, things of that nature, where if you if it is appropriate and you use the quip in a way that the rest of the table agrees, you gain a +1 die for your next action. If you succeed on that, you keep the quip, and on reuses, that +1 increases to +2, +3, +4, +5, and then you have to replace the quip. So it's just like little things that are thematically related to your archetype in this instance, but also can affect the game by inspiring people, or by just simply, I need the quip section. There we go. Reinforcing the themes of your archetype. I'm just going to randomly generate. I'm going to roll 1d. No, there are 25 of these. Gosh dang it. I'm going to find a random number generator because I don't have a 25-sided dice. 25-sided die, sorry. I need a number between 1 and 25, please. Which PDF is that opening? I've never seen anything like it, apparently. So if you can work that in a way that's entertaining, +1 die to the next action. Then we've got... all right, just this once. I don't know why I'm putting them on, but I'm not separating them out by a line, if I'm being honest. And the final quip. That's the wrong window entirely. From, I believe this was from from a single other archetype. Or invent your own, but again, I'm going to go with the pre-gens because I don't want to spend time agonizing over it. Let's double down on the rebel quips, shall we? On the rebel theming. That gives us... I just can't lie back and take it. Weak face, I wiggle. I wiggle, eyebrow wiggle. Back to this. And then an ambition, what your character is striving towards. As with Origin, each of the archetypes in TCF-TRA has an ambition list, which I'm just going to choose from. But you can make it yourself if you so choose. Oh, go on a wild adventure might be fun. Yeah, let's go on a wild adventure, chat. Ambition. Go on a wild adventure. And that gives us the skills, aim, athletics, pilot, and survival again. Interesting. Aim, athletics, pilot, survival. This is a survivor. 4 skills, 3 dots among them in any order. clearly we're going with survival. Athletics. You know, pilot. They can ride a horse. They've got some. They used to work for a blacksmith farrier, whatever. They've got some horse training. Assign 3 dots to 1 arena. No attribute may go above 5. Cool. So, going on a wild adventure seems more like a physical thing. So we're just going to go with 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And then composure for 1. And then ordinarily you would have a shared aspiration for the entire player party group, but that's not particularly needed here. And then you get 6 random skill dots. With 1 in integrity, 1 in persuasion, another in medicine. That takes me up to 4, with another in empathy. 5, and you know what? Let's go with the second dot in integrity. Equip your character with 1 weapon piece equipped or similar cinematic piece of equipment that's important to them, and 2 personal items of limited function. Let's give them some metalworking tools. Why not? +1E for +1 enhancement. And then limited function, we have house keys, because remember staff. I know not all members of staff would have house keys, but for the purposes of a role-playing game, I feel like, yeah, kind of makes sense. And let's also go with cameo necklace. Rewrites power the cinematics I touched on earlier. It starts equal to number of players, and it maxes out at 3 times the number of players. Bonds, I will have an idea of how to do that in session anyway, and we don't need any experiences. Is there anywhere to track? No. Character won't be wearing armor, and they don't need to track conditions right now. Okay, so I need to make a quick note of what I've said so far. The heart, orphaned at a young age, raised by the local blacksmith, and entered service as a teenager. Care deeply about the world and those around them. But feel a sense of injustice around inherited wealth and the ease of those who are born to it. Dreams of one day going on adventure beyond the boundaries of the estate. Perhaps the grand tour. Perhaps simply a prolonged travel. Or traveling for a prolonged period of time. Let's just say perhaps simply traveling the country. Okay, so that is 1 of 3 down. I'm just going to click save so I don't have to do anything else with that. And we do it all over again. So we've got the emotional heart, someone who cares deeply. Let's go the other way. Let's go with someone who is just angry about it. Someone who could easily ally with the heart or could act as a foil for the heart. We'll go with a rebel. Archetype. The rebel. So I need a concept along those lines. Ooh, we could have like a tutor in the house. Someone who is both staff but above them or separate. Firebrand tutor. Also leaning towards prioritizing intellect. But we'll get to that when we get to that stage of character creation. So the rebel origins in TCFTRA. Oh, well, there's the lady academic is right there. Plucky governess also. I think the lady academic makes the most sense. So let's just go with passionate academic. That's the wrong one. There we go. And that gives access to integrity, humanities, science, and technology. Integrity. Science. Oh. Technology. Sorry, I'm just trying to do this quickly. Just double check that. Yep, I don't know why that's not in completely alphabetical order. There's a slight editing error that got through editing. Error that got through editing. Reminder that no matter how many rounds of editing a book goes through, there will be mistakes because that is just the nature of the beast. 1 dot in each of those. We'll go with humanities. We'll go with science. We'll go with integrity. Boom. They're going to be very much a force approach. There is no brick wall. They will not break down. Then we go with a contact. With what I have in mind, the contacts aren't particularly important, but we'll go with Alexander Wilde, local printer. Perhaps they make pamphlets. Who knows? Archetype skill dots for the rebel are command, culture, empathy, and enigmas. Rebels who care more about what they get from revolution than they do about the people may swap out empathy for persuasion. No, I think we'll go with... Well... We'll go with persuasion, because the heart has more empathy. So that was... Command, culture, empathy, and enigmas. Command, culture, empathy, and enigmas. And we get 3 dots between those. Except we'll get rid of that, and we'll go in persuasion. We'll go with command. We'll go with persuasion. We'll go with culture. No, you're not. There is someone at the door. I will be right back. Okay, door to our salesperson, I suspect. We're not expecting any parcels today. So that was enigmas, command, and persuasion. Cool. Next stage in the process. 3 dot. Oh yeah, 3, 2, and 1 for the arenas. Well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. They're a tutor, so brain stuff, then a bit of social stuff for the firebrand aspect, and then just stamina because sometimes you have to burn the candle at both ends to teach. 2 tropes from the archetype selection and 1 from any other archetype selection, so that will be... I am kind of tempted with the you can summon a horse. Rebels ride bareback and resolute refusal, so you can summon a horse, and also a bully just drops the matter entirely. Let's ride bareback. Interesting. Today I learned if you hit tab in a form fillable PDF, for some reason it skips a few. Resolute refusal. 1 trope from another archetype. I'm thinking they might see themselves as a hero and might have some like heroic stuff going on. Oh, rousing speech. There we go. Perfect. You can address a large crowd and get them to follow you, or disperse. There's the firebrand. The hero. Boop, 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 boop. This are the tropes. Quips. Rebel quips. And then back to my random number generator, which I'm just using random.org, if anyone is curious. That gives me... A storm is coming, it's me. I'm the storm. That gives me... Damn! Screwed again! And the next number is 6, but we choose from a different archetype for this one. I mean, it's just easy to go with the hero, because... that was the off archetype trope pick as well. I'll save you. The hero. Just noticed all 3 tropes are R and R. Interesting. Cool. Those are the 3 quips. Then an ambition. Again, the ambitions are on a per archetype basis for TCFTRA. Where's the ambition? Pre-made ambitions, at least. Rise above my station. Start a factory. Eliminate class gender barriers. Improve conditions for tenants, factory workers. Marry for love, not duty. Go into trade. What are they rebelling against? I mean, I'm just gonna have to go with what I rebel. What irks me. Eliminate class gender barriers. In this case, it'll be gender barriers. Eliminate gender barriers. Teaching, skills to the other gender, because skills were gendered in this time period. That gives me athletics, close combat, persuasion, and survival for some reason. Athletics, close combat, persuasion, and survival. We'll give them 1 dot in athletics, why not? Another dot in persuasion. And 1 in survival. Those are the 3 skill dots. Then we get 3 dots to 1 attribute, 2 to another, 3 dots to 1 arena, 2 to another, and 1 to the final. Yep, 3, 2, 1 again. 3, 2, 1. Let's go with a balanced spread of points. Why not? That could never possibly go wrong. Let's not do that. Let's have some flaws. Might was the 3 dot, so I can't change that. There we go. They're less about persuading people to do what they want and more just forcing them. Okay, so that's that. No ensemble aspiration. 6 skill dots into any skills. Culture, empathy, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Again, if they can summon a horse, they need to be able to ride the horse. I don't know why I said again. I haven't mentioned that before in the slightest. Equip your character with 1 weapon, piece of kit, or similar cinematic piece of equipment that's important to them. Oh, I had an idea for this. I did. I really did. Yeah, what was it? Encyclopedia. And then the items of limited function. It's a club membership card. And blackmail letters. Why not? Let's throw some spice in there. I'll leave it to the player to determine who the blackmail letters concern. Forger bond and protagonist we don't need. Okay, so we have the Rebel. If they have time and money to be an academic, they are at least of minor noble birth. Born to a minor noble family. They seek to spread knowledge to all who want it, regardless of gender. Their continued frustration at the at societal stagnation has sparked a fire within them, and they are as at home standing on a street corner soapbox as they are writing incendiary pamphlet material. They're writing incendiary material for print. They have reached the point where they're considering direct action. Oh, I should probably save this document as well, just in case anything happens to anything, really. Nope, not that one. I need that one. There we go. OPPVC characters. How are we doing? How are we doing over on Twitch? Is everything working? I haven't checked in a while. Everything is still working. We have an audience of 1. Me. Mwahaha. Okay, third character. And then we'll reevaluate the situation because as I said, I'm kind of tired. We've got some social-ish characters that could act as allies or enemies depending on how the players approach it. So let's go with a middle ground, shall we? Kind of want to go... I want to avoid the hero because that just seems like the obvious choice. I might go with the charlatan. Yeah, let's just go with the charlatan. Someone is not who they say they are. Archetype, the charlatan. So let's read this, although having a deserter might be interesting. Yeah, let's go with a deserter. Let's go with a righteous deserter. They're not ashamed of what they did because in their mind, they did it for the right reasons. So we start all over again. What are the deserter origins? Oh, the charlatan origins, sorry. Oop, also, accidentally closed the chat. There we go, now I can see it again. Hello, you've never heard of this game before? What, they came from the RPG anthology in general, or Bridgton Rectory specifically? And apologies, I accidentally closed chat, so I could not see your message, but I assume it was relatively recently posted. Escape to the Noose could be good. Yeah, let's go with Escape. TTRPG. Okay, so They Came From is a game line that emulates media of varying kinds, movies, books, things of that nature, TV shows. It started, I believe, with They Came From Beneath the Sea, which was like 1950-ish B-movie, sci-fi B-movies. And then I think the next one that came out was They Came From Beyond the Grave, which was for like Hammer horror, Victorian era set horror movies. Obviously, movies weren't really a thing in the Victorian era. Just at the very end of it, maybe. What I'm doing right now is characters for... So they... start again. They Came From Beneath the Sea, Beyond the Grave, The Cyclops' Cave, and Classified, I believe, all have their own individual rulebook. They're all standalone, but you can use them together if you want. They Came From the RPG Anthology is a book with a whole handful of kind of like smaller settings in it. So the one I'm using, Bridgton Rectory, the one I'm using right now, Bridgton Rectory, is for Regency costume dramas. That's the word I've been struggling for the whole dang stream. Costume dramas. Pride and Prejudice, Wuthering Heights, Bridgerton, things of that nature. But it also includes They Came From Cowboys Gulch, if you want to do westerns, and the High Octane Apocalypse, so post-apocalyptic stuff, or Billy the Room with the Candlestick for your murder mysteries. I'm doing this to... what I'm doing right now is preparatory material for a game I'm running for the Onyx Path Virtual Convention, taking place over June the 5th to the 7th. My Bridgton Rectory game will be running at 7 AM on June the 6th on twitch.tv/PlasticAgePlays. I am also running a They Came From Beyond the Grave game the next day, June 7th, at the same time, 7 AM Eastern, or 12 PM for the UK, in the UK where I am, and where I think a few of my players are, or at least one of them is. And I just figured I'd do some like public prep material on the channel to try and build some hype for that, because it's a really cool game line. It's hard to describe as a game line when it's so varied, but it's a cool game line that I think doesn't get as much love as it deserves. Yeah, that's basically it. If anyone, I should have mentioned this at the start, but if anyone is questioning my qualifications for writing this material, 1, anyone can write material for any TTRPG, don't gatekeep. 2, I do actually have a contributing credit to a They Came From book. It's just not out yet. But I contributed material to They Came From Witchford Academy, and I'm very excited for when that comes out. Just pre-ordered the new TTRPG Legend of Hero Trails of Destiny. Cool! I hope that it arrives in a timely fashion. I know obviously crowdfunding campaigns, particularly tabletop ones, have a issue sometimes. Anyway, origin for my character. I was going with Escape to the Noose. That gives us close combat, empathy, enigmas, and... oh, there's the slammer. Medicine. Was it empathy, I said? Empathy, enigmas, and medicine. So our origin path gives, based on the game series The Legend of Heroes. I see. This looks very fun. It is. If you are interested, obviously you've seen the shorts. There are a couple of actual plays from previous conventions on youtube.com/@the-Onyx-Path, I believe it is. As well as, I think there were a couple of just actual plays in general, featuring different They Came From game lines. Oh, well, there we go. They Came From the RPG Anthology. If you're looking for something on like the smattering, the variety of settings included in the book I'm using right now, there you go. But yeah, the youtube.com/the-Onyx-Path has a whole bunch of actual plays of not just They Came From content, but obviously all of their games. Where was I? Did I put my dots into my skills? Origin gives me 4 skills. 3 dots go into those skills. My phone's at 12%, so I have to go, but can you post a link to the games to buy? Yeah, sure. I don't know the book code off the top of my head, so... Came from the RPG Anthology. The book I'm using specifically right now for this character is at that link, and from that link you should be able to get to the other They Came From games. They're all They Came From and then something, and that something is based on the genre. But thank you for asking. Thank you for swinging by and checking it out. I myself am here on alternate Tuesdays, but there's plenty of programming. Oh, my cat. Hello, my cat. There is other programming on the channel outside of just myself, as one would expect. Anyway, let's go with... So this is a deserter. They got some close combat. They were injured. They had to treat themselves. And... enigmas for seeing through lies. Why not? We'll go with that. The skills, the charlatan gives athletics, command, larceny, and survival. Athletics, command, larceny, survival. Well, clearly command. They were an officer. They know how to survive. Let's go with athletics. I don't think larceny fits with the idea I've got in my head. They escaped the noose because they're accused that the people who witnessed them desert died. So they haven't really had to turn to a life of crime, but it is still it still lingers over them, even though they don't think they did anything wrong. And then we go with... Oh, whoops. Right, I need to do attributes. I need to do the favoured approach. Well, I've done a force. I've done a resilience. Why not go with a finesse? This is someone who gets by on their wits rather than their brains, let's say. And then they have one contact, obviously. Sergeant Dirk Fletcher. I might change the rank. I'll probably change the rank, but for now, Sergeant Dirk Fletcher. Former. I'm trying. The word has gone, chat. The word. It has gone. Not Batman. You know what? I'll put Batman. I know what that means. I can explain that as needed. But basically, personal manservant. It wouldn't be a sergeant in that case. I will put a couple of question marks here to remind myself to change this for the rank. But that means I need to determine the rank of the officer. Although, traditionally, I guess it would be captain based on the source material. So I need to figure out Batman to a captain. Soldier or airman assigned to a CO as a personal servant. Oh, it could be a sergeant. The official term used by the British Army in the First World War was soldier servant. Okay, that'll be a private. PVT, Dirk Fletcher, former Batman. Well, actually, does have them as corporal. They've been promoted since. Right, so that's origin, skills, attributes, contact, archetype, skills. Did I assign the archetype skill dots? I sure did. Right, I'm caught up. I did a slightly out of order, chat. I got distracted. It's entirely on me. 3, 2, 1 for the attributes. Three. Two. 1. 2 tropes from the charlatan. My breasts are down here. F off. Once per session, intimidate your opponent. Target retreats. Interesting, interesting. People respect your reputation. Horse thief. Just steal a horse. We can summon a horse, so we can steal a horse. I think F off and my breasts are down here. Gender blind, by the way. This game is gender blind. So it could be female officer or non-binary officer, whatever. One from another one. We don't have anything from the rake, so let's grab a trope from the rake so that they at least get some. Some love. Oh, trick pistol. Pair of dueling pistols. One works, the other one absolutely does not. This could be fun with what I have planned. Obviously, going back to like what I have planned and stuff. My idea is, I don't know if I do this on stream or not, but I will think of like 2 vignettes for each character that could be slotted into any story to give them, spotlight focus to be like, hey, this character is cool because of this. So we'll figure. We'll there's the echo. It's either a stam or echolalia. It's one of the 2. That's cool. 1 trope from any other archetype is done, I believe. Yep, I wrote that down. And then 2 quips. This is Charlatan, 22. The guy I took it from won't miss it. Oh, no, hang on. There it is. And we've got, I'll admit, it's a handful. Hey, Awkward GM, how you doing? And then final quip. Where did the rake go? It's been minutes since something good happened. I'm bored. The rake. Short for raconteur, in case anyone was curious. No one ever asks, but hey, here's that knowledge for you. And then the ambition, we will obviously just go with one of the pre-written ones. This is for Bridgton Rectory, Awkward GM. One of my 2 games at the Virtual Con, the first one. It's on the schedule as RPG Anthology, but it's a Bridgton Rectory game. Charlatan's ambitions could be sweet revenge. Oh, absolutely sweet revenge. That's all I needed to see. And misspell. Because that's how I roll. No, stop putting R's where R's don't exist, you fool. Aim, close combat, enigmas, and integrity. Aim, close combat, enigmas, and integrity. 3 dots. Anywhere I wish. Yep, 3, 2, 1 in the arenas. 3. 2. 1. If I was wanting to run a play that came from Bridgton Rectory, I was concerned with how to have a period drama be fun and not awkward. Emphasis on the drama, really. That's what I'm going to go for. And also, like, I guess the thing to remember is that I've never run this before. But the last time I ran a game I'd never run before for the Onyx Path Virtual Con, everyone had fun. So there's that, and you have to start somewhere. But I guess just see how this one goes, and then take it from there. Although I will say the rulebook obviously does have the pre-written adventure outline in it that you can very easily use to inspire your own games. All being well, this one will be the lead up to a ball, like the day of a ball, and just the events happening beforehand, and then the ball itself as the climax, and all of the stuff that's been happening around it feeding into drama at a ball. We'll see how all that goes. Obviously, it might not go terribly well. And then 6 personal interest skill dots. Close combat and aim. 1, 2, 3, 4. Did I give him horse thief? I did not. Never mind. 2, 3, 4, 5, and Sure, 1 dot in Larceny. Why not? For 6. And then we give them the item. They're going to have a sword. I'll put alien weapon. The player can decide if that's a sword or a pistol. And if they choose pistol, I will let them swap close combat and aim. And then we go letters of commission. And what else would a deserter be carrying? Item of limited function. So the letter of commission could be like, hey, I'm who I say I am. Ignore the rumors that you've heard. I just want to write swagger stick just to have written swagger stick, but I don't think that's particularly needed. Item of limited function. Oh, pocket watch. Die. Make sure this is vaguely period appropriate. I'm pretty sure it is, but here we are. Now I'm doubting myself, you know? Development in the 1500s. Yep, absolutely a period appropriate. So character notes based on what I've said so far. Carlton, a former captain in the British Army. Due to what they believe. Justifiable reasons they believe. Everyone who knew they had deserted to be killed in action, but are dogged by rumors wherever they go. They desire revenge on the officer who ordered them into the action that killed their brother, killed their sibling. Again, we'll have a gender blind experience. Where did the character sheet go? There it is. The desire of a officer ordered them into action that killed their sibling, and have trained with have dedicated their life to rebuilding their honor and killing their foe. I say and dedicate their time to rebuilding their life and killing their foe. Boom. 3 pre-gens written in an hour-ish. Do I want to do a 4th one, chat? Do I want to do a 4th one? That is the question. I do have the time. I do like... So there's going to be more characters, obviously. I just want to do a few on stream. I have the time. Why not? Where did the blank character sheet go? There it is. I only thought of 3 chat. I only planned for 3. Oh god, it's all going horribly wrong. So we've got a charlatan, heart, a rebel. Let's just go with a rake. Just, you know, someone who has no stakes in anything because they just don't care. Archetype, rake, concept, pleasure-seeking priest. because that's funny to me. Oh, this is Bridgton Rectory. Please. Oh, right, I need to zoom in on the count sheet. I apologize. Boop. And I need to close that, and then it's centered. So, archetype. The Rake. I didn't save the other two characters. That's entirely on me. I've kept them open just in case I need to check what I've given them or you know, change anything. Rake Origins. Board Debutant. Heir who spent his inheritance. Happily widowed countess. A less fortunate Rake. Maybe the Mouthy Servant. If I use the board Debutant, if I go with board Cleric instead and change technology to culture, I think that works for me. So that gives us empathy, humanities, integrity, and culture. We give them 3 dots. We go with culture, we go with humanities, we go with empathy. And then I believe it is a contact. No, it's the favoured approach, you fool. Putting the cart before the horse. I don't think resilience is it if they're bored and seeking pleasure. Let's go with another force approach. Get a free dot in their force attributes. Now the contact. Character, group, or access. Well, access is obviously like ecclesiastical library. Where are the rake skills, chat? Where are the rake skills? They're in the PDF. I don't know why I asked. Where is it? Where is it? Chat, where is it? Aim, culture, not aim. Close combat. Well, actually. Let's go close combat, humanities, enigmas, and persuasion. Oh, hang on. No, I've got 2 that focus on close combat, right? Yeah, let's go with aim. Aim. What did I say it was? Enigmas, humanities, and persuasion. Enigmas, humanities, persuasion. Humanities and persuasion. The 3-2-1 split. That is fine. 1, 2, 3. Very weak-willed. 2 and 1. And then we go with the tropes. I feel like Bon Mo is probably a good idea. So Bon Mo is, you can use equip in combat to avoid damage from the next attack. And... Heart of Gold. Did it again. Hit tab. Don't know why I did. This is a person who is bored. Probably done something not great. Let's go with Charlatan as their off archetype, trope, and quip. Alright, rebel. The rest is drag. This is someone who hides when they go out as a rake. Yes, it's all coming together. Then we go with the quips, I believe. Tropes and then quips. Uh, 15. Rake quips, here we are. But at least I look good doing it. The dream, chat. The dream. And 4. This is quite an anatomy lesson. And then, sorry, I never apologise. Not got a lot of time, so PP cons have to catch up on video on demand. Hey, that's what they're there for, right? Oh, I'm in exactly the same boat, though. Obviously, the time zones don't help me. Catching the stuff I want to watch. But yeah, I mean, it's also very early in the morning for those of you in the States. Obviously, I don't know exactly where you are, Awkward Gem, and I don't want you to, dox yourself. But 7 AM Eastern is, obviously the latest it's going to be to start in the States. Those are the quips down. Eastern? Well, at least it's not too bad. But yeah, obviously the video on demand is there for a very good reason. Ambition. Recoup gambling losses. Recoup gambling losses with more gambling. Travel the world. Social climber. Avoid getting disinherited. So I've kind of pigeonholed this, doing it as a member of the clergy, because they can't really pawn off the responsibility of that onto a sibling. Social climbing is not... Well, I guess social climbing could be a thing, actually. Yeah, let's go with social climber. Maybe they partake, let's say, as a way of gaining contacts within a certain level of high-class society. Athletics, empathy, humanities, and survival. Athletics, empathy, humanities. I think that's what I just said. Yep. 3 dots. Empathy, humanities. I'm gonna change that to larceny, however. I'll put the dot in larceny instead. And then 3, 2, 1 in any arena. Two, 3. 2 and 1. Aspiration, shared aspirations, whatever. 6 interpersonal skill. 6 personal interest skill dots. Well, I guess the concept requires some level of public speaking. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. equipment, personal Bible. +1 enhancement to deflect suspicion. Fine clothes. But like stupidly, excessively fine clothes, let's say. Obviously, everyone at this ball will have fine clothes, but these are stupidly fine. Personal Bible, excessively fine clothes, and... let's go with... let's just go with Hip Flask. Let's go with Hip Flask. I also realised I need to specify the action for these. Heirloom Weapon, +1 enhancement to it. Just attacks. Encyclopedia to recall / research information. And metalworking tools to craft metal objects. And then because it's Adobe, you have to click into a different form fillable field to actually save the changes. Very strange. Very annoying. I've fallen afoul of that many times. I think that's it. Yes. To rename these files after the stream's over, but here we go. Right, and then the rake, second child of a minor noble family. Clergy was their destination from birth. This role is one they find deeply unfulfilling. And they have, and they quickly turned to vice as a way of coping with the mundanity of their position. They use their vices and position to gain influence with similarly minded scions of noble families, and thus gain influence among rising among the popular members of their class. Just putting together everything for player reference. Right, I think that is everything. But what, 2 weeks until I need 2.5 weeks before the game, so that's fine. That should be enough time for me to put together some kind of adventure. But as I say, if there is nothing, if something comes up, then I will have to simply use the shot car flap and flappability included in They Came From the RPG anthology. I'm very excited about running this game. This is the idea I have in mind is something that I've had basically in mind since they announced the game. Was a setting in They Came From the RPG anthology. So I'm very excited to bring it to the table and see how it plays out. All I'm going to say is it will probably not go in the direction that you think it might. Regardless, this has been my character generation for the Onyx Path Publishing Virtual Convention 2026. I now have a nice, shiny, year-agnostic overlay. So there's that at the very least. That will take place June 5th to 7th inclusive. Twitch.tv/the Onyx Path is where all the panels will be, and twitch.tv/Plastic Age Plays is where all the actual plays will be. And you can catch me and a fantastic cast of players at 7 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. UK on Saturday the 6th for They Came From the RPG Anthology, specifically Bridgton Rectory, and at the same time, 7 a.m., 12 p.m. On the 7th for a They Came From Beyond the Grave game. I don't have much else to say. Obviously, this has been a slightly different approach to the show. I like to do something to promote the convention when I can. So if you do want to see the other characters or hear like how I've interpreted their spread of skills, their paths, that kind of thing, or why I've made the choices I have, and you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. You can watch the video on demand instantly. If not, you will have to wait a week, at which point you can watch it here at twitch.tv/the Onyx Path or at youtube.com/@comradebubbles, where it will go in, I believe, my behind the screen specials playlist. I'm here alternate Tuesdays, which means technically there will be another one before the convention, so I might do another preparation stream. Who knows? I feel like Bridgton Rectory is the lesser of the two game lines in terms of fame, so I might hold off and just do the adventure outline then. I could feasibly do that. And leave the Beyond the Grave for secret stuff. But I'm also tired and burned out, so we'll have to play that one by ear. We will absolutely have to play that one by ear. If I do stream, it will be next on the 2nd of June, 2026, obviously. And if you are interested in talking RPG content with me, I can be reached on social media. It's Comrade Bubbles on Blue Sky. I do also have a Tumblr account, but I'm not active on that. I haven't been for some time. I'm also active on the Onyx Path Discord server. I do stream on Twitch as Comrade Bubbles. I don't generally do tabletop content. I do video game stuff, but I'm always happy to talk about tabletop content while I mindlessly do stuff in video games. So if you're interested in that, please do consider following me over at twitch.tv/comradebubbles. But I think that is it. So, if you're wondering what this virtual convention is that I've been talking about, or you're like, "Hey, I've heard of that game. It was on crowdfunding recently. What's happening with it?" Highly recommend you check out the Monday meeting notes. These are a weekly thing that Onyx Path Publishing put out with project updates, things of that nature. The important takeaways are currently, yes, the convention, June 5th to the 7th, but also oh gosh, so if I can do my maths correctly, it's now about 11 a.m. Eastern. So in about 3 hours, the next crowdfunding campaign will be going live for Exalted Essence, the Storyteller's Guide. Yes, it's primarily focused on storytellers for Exalted Essence, but it also has apparently a lot of material for players as well. So please consider following the link in the Monday meeting notes to that campaign. On sale after this show, there's nothing for the rest of the day until 8 p.m. Eastern, at which point there is a Branch Rider show called Expanding Your Realms by the Badana Group team themselves. And then we have Curseborn, A Cursed in Boston at 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, run by, I believe, the awkward GM that's in chat. Thursday, Guiding the Path at 3 p.m. Eastern is by Tom Moore, who does it's just a fantastic story guide in general, but this show is kind of like the theory of of role-playing games. His show is the practice of role-playing games, in a way. And then on Monday, 25th of May, Trinity Continuum Adventure, Short Tales at 9 p.m. Eastern. And we've also got on sale this Wednesday the They Came From Classified Tasty Bit compilation dossier for just little bits of content to throw into your They Came From Classified games. And last week, if you're interested in the the mini settings included in the They Came from the RPG anthology, last week saw the advanced PDF release of They Came from the Danger Zone for kind of 1980s action films. Or as the text says, join all the versions of Arnold across all the explosions you could ever want. So there's that, if you're interested in that kind of gameplay. Specifically, They Came From related, if you have been intrigued by what I've been talking about, there is a They Came From panel on this channel between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern on Saturday, June the 6th, which I've just realised is at the end of the Bridgton Rectory game, so that could have been better timed on everyone's part, but this is sometimes just how it works out, unfortunately. Regardless, I really look forward to At the Gates to come out soon. I've been dying for it. Well, I hope that it arrives in your hands soon. I think that is it from me. So until I see you next time, as ever and as always, please do stay safe. Please do stay healthy. Please do stay wholesome. Much love to you all.